I was not planning on getting so emotional. Several people have asked me what this new Train song is about, and I can't wait for you to hear the rest of it. But honestly, it's not really about one specific moment, although there was one specific experience I had in my life that heavily influenced the vibe and the direction of the song. I've had many dark periods in my life. Unfortunately, I was bullied in high school. I was extremely depressed, didn't want to socialize, didn't want to talk. I came home early from serving a mission for my church, and although I was extremely sick, I felt like a failure. And then I got into a serious relationship and got engaged and was manipulated and cheated on. And marriage is hard. Postpartum is really hard. My brother-in-law passed away 3 weeks before I had my daughter. This depression was very different than any other kind of depression I had experienced before, because I didn't let anybody see that I was depressed. Not even my husband. I kept it from him because it's his brother, and I didn't want to show that it affected me, and I wanted to be a good mom. I was a brand new mom, but also grieving, and with everything going on and trying to navigate motherhood and my marriage while managing and navigating the grief, I decided that music didn't really fit into my life. I was so lost and hurting that I thought that that was the one thing that was making all of this pain so much worse, when in reality, it was, I think, the one thing that saved me. I told myself that I was just going to focus on family and I wasn't going to write. I was just going to switch that part of my brain off. And I basically told God that that's what I was going to do. And that's when this massive wave of depression hit me. And I cried myself to sleep almost every single night. I felt like I struggled to connect with my daughter because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know how me being here was benefiting anybody or bringing any change or goodness or light into anybody's life. And honestly, my mind always went back to writing music. That was literally the only way I knew how to cope. Kind of cope. Where we live, we actually do have a train that I hear constantly throughout the day, and definitely at night, and nights were extremely lonely. I just felt like there wasn't anyone in my life that could relate to exactly what I was going through. Losing a brother-in-law, helping my husband and his family grieve through that, and then being a new mom, feeling like I'm failing at that. It was a really dark time. It was scary, and I stopped posting music. Being vulnerable was just not at the forefront of my mind. I was just trying to help everybody else survive. So although this one time in my life, like I said, heavily influenced the song, I can look back over many times in my life and feel like I can relate to what I'm talking about in this song. I feel like I convinced myself that I was doing the right thing by giving music up and not sharing that part of me anymore. Felt like that was the right path to take, when ultimately I know that that was just Satan. He probably knew that if I shut that part of me down, that he would have access to a little bit more of me, and it worked. And so I wrote this song. It doesn't say that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't say everything's gonna be better, everything's gonna be okay, just hang on. It's kind of about being in that dark place and saying that I can relate to anyone else in that dark place. We don't have to have the exact same experience, but the feeling of depression, the feeling of hurt and loss and wanting to give in to terrible thoughts is real, and I can relate to that. So I did not mean for this to be so long, but that's a little bit more about what this song means. I hope it helps somebody else. I hope it can meet someone else where they're at and pull them out of that dark place, because it did for me. It helped me realize that I can't give up this part of myself, and I need to find myself help so I can be a good wife and I can be a good mom and I can be good to myself. Anyway, it comes out June 5th, and I hope you guys like it.